can read all the time and keep learning and reinforcing his argument in the book. Michael Pollan happens to be a incredibly bright human being and a wonderful, incisive, compelling journalist. He's a journalist. He's not a nutritionist. He knows more about nutrition than most nutritionists know. He's a journalist. And in the book, he talks about, the title of the book is The Omnivore's Dilemma. What's the dilemma? Okay. So we are omnivores. We evolved to be omnivores. We can eat plants. We have the teeth to eat plants. We have the digestive system to eat plants. We can also eat meat. We have the teeth to eat meat. We have the digestive system to eat meat. We have the metabolic processes that allow us. We have the system to digest it, absorb those foods and the nutrients contained therein, and assimilate them as omnivores. We can eat many different kinds of foods. You think that, and what? That's a blessing. It's also a curse. In our culture, we have a stunning constellation of choices that we can make to eat. The problem is there is no guidance in which foods to eat and which ones to avoid. And no, fad diets don't count. That's why we have so many. One after another, telling you to eat this and not that. Because there are no set of rules in place that have been, as I said, established over generations. I'm going to give you an example where there is a set of rules, and in this particular culture, generally in food culture, compared to ours, and they do better. Our dilemma is we don't know which choices are the good ones, and hence we are now caught up in an obesity and type 2 diabetes epidemic. The food culture in our country is constituted primarily of corn-derived processed foods. We are corn eaters. How much does the average American eat corn? How much corn does the average American eat every year? You have an idea? Try this on. Bring up your dump truck. Try a ton. A ton. You're saying, but I don't buy corn. Oh, yes, you do. I joke about high fructose corn syrup, for example. I say, the only place I haven't found it so far is shaving cream. I'm waiting. My guest is laughing. It's true. And I suspect it'll make its way into shaving cream because, sometimes when you're shaving it, the shaving cream will get in your mouth. They'll make it taste sweet, and so not to worry. Right? We are corn eaters, man. And not only that, they are inventing foods. You look at some of these foods that are being made by these food companies, these are human-made foods. They call it a food, but it's not, it doesn't come from nature. It comes out of a lab. It's synthetic. And so we have all these choices that we can make. And it's a dilemma, as Michael Pollan argues, because we don't know what to do. And now we're relying on science to provide guidance. Well, you hear me. Listen, I'm all in on science. but the science is imperfect. You hear me report one day, one study says X. Next day, another study says Y. And then on the third day comes along another study that argues Z. All about the same issue. And people are confused. They don't know what to do. And they reach for a fad diet or some scheme or scam and hoping that this will be healthy. We're in a lot of trouble in this culture. When we come back, I'm going to give you a concrete example of where rules and tradition guide the food culture. And they eat pastries, they drink wine, they eat cheese, and they're doing okay. I'll tell you who it is. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for starting off the week with us. I'm talking about the dilemma that we face. Michael Pollan, in his book, calls it the omnivore's dilemma. And it is a dilemma. I call it the dietary dilemma. My guest today is Dr. Sally Bird. She's in studio as all 99% of the time. She's here today. I'm going to bring her on right away because she's going to help make my point that Michael Pollan makes the point in his book, The Omnivore's Dilemma, that we don't have a traditional established food culture in our country. And it has created a dilemma for omnivores. And I'll try to break the argument down even further. And I was just saying, and one consequence of not having this food tradition with rules is that we keep reaching for these fad diets to guide us in what to eat, what not to eat. Dr. Bird's going to give you and she's not making it up. She's going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Dr. Bird, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. Welcome back from the Middle East. Glad you went. I'm sure you have a lot to say, and it's good to see you again. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you. It's great to be back. One of the diets that I was just informed about yesterday with a patient was called the snake diet. And I'd never heard of it before. I said, what is that? They said a person can only eat for 2 hours a day and also consume any water or any beverage within that 2-hour time frame.
No
water.
Okay, no water.
No water for 22 hours. You only have 2 hours to eat or drink anything you want. So this one gentleman was eating a pound of bacon during the 2 hours. And his friends were concerned about him because he's complaining of constipation. And he doesn't feel good. But he's lost 15 pounds in about 10 days. So this is where we are. The common sense is not registering.
So let me understand. You can eat for 2 hours and drink, but for the other 22, you're out of luck.
That's right.
Okay. So let me see. The body is about 60, as I recall, my training, about 60% water or thereabouts, pretty close. So you're going to avoid consuming the very thing of which you're mostly constituted of. That's point number one. He's losing weight because he's sick. Sick people typically don't gain weight when they're sick. They lose weight. He thinks he's losing weight because he's practicing this snake diet. Well, he's making himself sick. He's not consuming calories. Yes, he's losing weight, but he's also sick. He doesn't realize it yet. He's going to get sicker yet if he stays on that diet. He's going to put himself somewhere in an emergency room. This is illustrative of exactly, Dr. Bird, what I was saying. You went to Israel. You just got back.
Yes.
That country has a culture of eating that's based on hundreds and hundreds of years. The way they eat there, it's called, it's somewhere in the Mediterranean out there, right?
Yes.
Close enough. And they have a custom and a practice of eating guided by rules. Can you name the rules of eating in our food culture? Do you know what they are to guide a person into what to eat, what not to eat?
Fast and cheap.
Exactly. You read Michael Pollan's book a long time ago.
Yes.
This book is an indictment. And it deserves, even though it was written back in 2006 or so, it's still a valid indictment of our food culture or the lack thereof. We have a food culture, but it's a culture that is sort of like the Wild West. It's, there are no rules. The part of the dilemma with us is that we evolved to be able to eat fruits and vegetables, right? And meat and mushrooms and whatever, bark. We can even eat bark, for heaven's sake, and we do.
Mhm.
That has contributed to our survival. The monarch butterfly only eats one thing. It eats milkweed.
Mhm.
The koala only eats one thing, right? It eats eucalyptus trees or leaves. They have no decision to make about what to eat. They eat one thing. We can't do that. We have choices to make, and we are required nutritionally to eat a variety of, we are composed biologically in such a way, the orchestration of our biology is such that it requires many instruments, meaning many different foods. The choices that we make here in our country are, for the most part, corn-based. We are corn eaters, man.
Bad.
We eat, on average, each American, a ton of corn. You say, but I don't buy corn. But you're eating it. It's in everything. When we come back, I'm going to give you another example, or give you a solid example of where there are rules in the food culture, and they're eating things that we tell people not to eat because you're going to die. And they're eating them and enjoying them. How could that be? Well, we'll find out. confused about what to eat. You're not sure. Should I eat this and not that? And trying to make good choices, and you just don't know. It's not your fault. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition, because we don't have any guiding, long-standing, traditional food culture rules that can guide us in what we need to do with our food.
I got a question from the internet, and it is BMI. Is there a difference between man and woman's BMI?
I mean, for obesity, like is a BMI for obesity the same for men as it is for women?
Right.
Yes, I think it is. A BMI higher. Pull up a BMI chart, and I'll show you. Dr. Sally Bird is my guest. She just got back from Israel. She was describing the food there and that culture. It's highly influenced by Arabic and Mediterranean countries. Arabic countries and Mediterranean. Well, Arabic you're in the Mediterranean. You got a long-standing tradition. The food was fabulous, right?
Yes, it was very good.
Okay. France. They eat cheese. They eat pastries. They drink wine. If you talk to health experts in this country, many of the foods that they eat in France on a day-to-day basis in great quantities, many nutritionists and dietitians would tell you not to do it. Wouldn't they? Don't they?
A lot of them do.
How we eat is just as important as what we eat, right?
Yes.
They drink wine, eat cheese, they cook with butter, they eat red meat in France. They have better cardiovascular health than we do. They call it the French paradox. Nothing paradoxical about it to me. Yet, their rates of heart disease and obesity are far lower than in our country. You say, well, how is that? How can that be? The French culture includes, and Michael Pollan, I'm giving attribution to Michael Pollan here, includes a set of customs or rules about how to eat, what to eat, when to eat, even with whom to eat. They never eat alone. We eat alone. I say never. Not everybody never eats alone there. You get my point. They eat small portions. We have invented a thing called the, what's that? What do they call it? Where you go to a restaurant,
The buffets?
The buffet, which is a French word, ironically. All you can eat. What kind of concept is that? You're not a prisoner on death row. That's not your last meal. All you can eat. Why would you want to do that? They don't snack on a regular basis like we do. They seldom eat alone. These are some of the rules that guide them. Yet they eat those foods that I just described to you that many contemporary dietitians and nutritionists would say, Nick, say on that, that's food, that's nutritional sin. Don't eat those foods. Don't eat the cheese. Don't drink the wine. Don't eat the bread. And so on. And that's what you saw in Israel. Weren't they doing that?
Yes, they were.
We have no such food culture in the United States. That's why we're so screwed up. Dr. Bird just described the snake diet. Tell them what that diet is again.
Eating for only 2 hours a day, including drinking any water, any liquid.
You have to have the IQ of a monkey. Maybe that's too high. What are they doing? And people get desperate. They're so worried about losing weight that they lose their health in the process,
Yes.
don't they, Dr. Bird?
Yes, that's what happens.
This is our food culture is like a mental institution. It's crazy. It's totally nuts. Completely. It makes absolutely no sense. And that's why we're so sick. And if you hear the passion and the urgency in my voice, is because I only have so much time on the planet to do what I got to do, which is try to educate and propagate a message that gets people to think about what they're doing. Why would that man be eating a pound of bacon a day, and he can only eat and drink for 2 hours a day because he wants to lose weight? He could call me. I will do the consultation for free, and I can get him to lose the weight. Other than that, Dr. Bird, how are you doing?
Fabulous. Life is good.
Life is good. Did you and your mom have a wonderful time in Israel?
Yes, we did. It was wonderful to see the Bible come alive and to experience the cultural food and camaraderie of the Israeli people.
Were your expectations met when you got out there?
Oh, yes. They were exceeded.
On your BMI chart, Doc.
Okay, put it up. I can't read that. I'm deaf and blind, brother. Okay, so if you look down that chart, that doesn't help me. Let's see. BMI. Okay, that's not helpful. That doesn't tell me what's obese, what's not. We need a chart so that the viewer can.
The red is obese. The blue is normal, and the orange is
okay.
overweight.
So if you have a BMI, depending on your height, they do it by height and weight. If you have, I'll find another chart. That's hard to interpret. That's a little too complicated. During the break, or in that next hour, I'll come up with something. That's a good question. Obesity is obesity. Your height and your gender doesn't drive what is operationally defined as obese. It's your height and weight. How much weight relative to your height, and there's a range here, and I'll deal with that. That's a great question. And then Dr. Bird with American Biotech Lab, she's an educator for them. Any breaking news?
Oh, yes. We were just on a PBS special for dental care with an oral surgeon out of Vancouver who has been using the silver after surgery to help heal implant surgery and to keep things from reoccurring. But it was mainly used post-surgery for rapid healing, getting rid of the biofilms, and helping the patient recover very quickly.
We'll explain. We'll show you the product. It works. Science to support it. It's all good. We'll be back with Dr. Sally Bird, coast to coast and globally.
Feel tired, lethargic, or irritable? Take
One of the faves on LTN Faves is Dr. Sally Bird. She's in studio today, fresh off the airplane from Israel, eating all that wonderful food there. Welcome back to the U.S. and welcome into the studios of Let's Talk Nutrition, Dr. Bird.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
No snake diet for you.
Absolutely not.
What a crazy idea. And that's what's happened to us. And we're relying on science to guide us in what to eat, what not to eat. Don't hold your breath. Although this is an evidence-based show, and you hear me say that all the time, and I do report on studies, and I do rely on science to provide some insight. But food cultures are made over hundreds and thousands of years. And we don't have a food culture here that's codified to help to guide us in making our choices. And we have eaten our way into ill health. It's unfortunate. I'll talk some more about it. I'm keying off of Michael Pollan's book, The Omnivore's Dilemma. I know it was published a while back, but it's as fresh a read today as it was back in 2006 when he first published the book. I believe it was 2006. And many of you think you're eating organic, but you're eating industrial organic. Difference between that and what Pollan talks about, right? He talks about these 4 different paradigms that exist in our culture. These 4, the industrial corn, the pastoral grass, and then there's the forest. He breaks out the book into those particular divisions. Many people eat organic, but it's industrial organic. Get into that a little bit, maybe in the second hour, some more, and over the next several days. So American Biotech Labs just did a PBS special focusing on oral hygiene and oral health. And
Yes. They were linked in with Dr. Willoughby, Andrew Willoughby from Vancouver. He's a highly regarded dentist, surgeon, and he has been using silver for many years. He's been using it in the water lines in his dentist, in the surgeon's office, and through the dental lines. He's used the tooth gel, silver gel for recuperation, and he is now has so much research. He is adding it into his new way of implant technology. Part of the PBS show was to talk about new technology in dentistry, and he is using silver because it makes a difference with both the surgery before and after for faster recovery, and the patient feels a lot better and is in a lot less pain. So
And it's the
quite nice.
and he's using the American Biotech's.
That's right.
What's the name of the product? Can you hold
He's
it up?
using silver gel is what he started with, and now they are using the tooth gel, Doc, one of your favorite products.
Mm-hmm. Please. Oh.
The tooth gel, which is the silver gel based. It just tastes better. It has organic peppermint oil in it and also some xylitol. So it's a fantastic product for oral care to use both before and after you go to the dentist. You leave it in your mouth.
I brush. What I do is I put toothpaste on the
Mhm.
brush, and I put that on top of the toothpaste. I even brush with it. And then at
Great.
night, before you go to bed, you can take some, put it on your
Mhm.
finger, and
Mhm.
rub it around your gums. And you wake up in the morning, and it works. So what does it do? Does it have an effect on the bacteria? What's the
Yes.
mechanism here?
It kills the bacteria that cause these sticky films, which are known as biofilms on your mouth.
Mm.
So if you go to sleep using the tooth gel in your mouth, on your teeth, you can use it as a paste or by itself, or as an aftercare product. You use it, go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, run your tongue across your teeth. There will be nothing sticky there. And that means it has kept the biofilm at bay. So you don't have this sticky substance full of bacteria, which will cause inflammation in the mouth and bacterial infections, which can lead to cavities and problems in your gums, even gingivitis.
Amazing.
Mhm.
And so, in terms of your oral health and your dental health and your gum health, flossing,
Yes.
people don't realize when you floss, not only are you removing particles and debris, you're also killing bacteria. That pressure that you put on the gum also kills bacteria. And if you don't floss and you go to the dentist and they start to clean your teeth and your gums are bleeding, you start flossing, that will start to reduce that. And of course, brushing your teeth and then using a product such as this. The mouth is one of the most bacteria-ridden places in the body, is it not?
Yes, it is.
That's why when a human bites you, they got to give you a tetanus shot. Jeez. Yeah, and we think we're so evolved. So that was a nice special then, huh?
Yeah, it was a nice surprise to get some credibility in PBS. Wonderful.
What was the response like? Do you know?
I'm not aware of it, but the company seems to be very happy. Dr. Keith Moeller, he's very excited he got to speak on the special. And more people are realizing that the silver can be used in so many different ways. And it's affordable and effective at the same time.
And the tooth gel, I'm holding up the silver gel.
Mhm.
Is the tooth gel is the silver gel, but they've added ingredients
They
that
made it taste better.
it made it taste so that Although I have put this in my mouth. I've put the
Yes,
silver.
you can.
I put
Yes,
the
you
silver gel.
can.
I had over the weekend. I had a blemish on my body, and it looked like it was infected. I added it. I just topically. I put the silver gel on for 2 days. It was gone. Boom. You can't make it up.
As a diabetic, I use it all the time.
There you go.
Yes.
That's a good point. We come back, I'll explain the BMI, and I'll try to do it in English and see how I can do, and tell you, does your gender make a difference? It's your height and your weight that make a difference. Being of a particular gender doesn't necessarily help you or hurt you. It's your height and weight. You're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition Coast to Coast and globally, featuring Dr. Sally Bird. And welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for stopping by, where we're always hunting and gathering information to try and help us understand what to eat and what not to eat, how to live, the things that we should and should not do to live a long life with quality of life. We are a hunter-gatherer of information, not just information, but credible, evidence-based information to accomplish those goals. So hunter-gatherer of not seeds, nuts, and whatnot, but, that's what we do. And to help us do that, we often have guests on the show that have a particular expertise and that can illuminate our conversation. We have one such guest in studio today. Just got back from Israel, went to Israel with her mom and had a wonderful time. I don't know if she did any deep sea diving or skin diving. She usually takes her tanks and whatnot with her. I don't think she took it on. Although she did end up in the Jordan River. Her canoe sunk. No, it's not true. That's not true. She'll tell you how she got into the Jordan River. That's where Christ was.
John the Baptist baptized Jesus in the Jordan River.
Right.
And so we went there and got baptized also. It was amazing.
And that voice is Dr. Sally Bird. She's an educator for American Biotech Labs. We love having her here. We love her. She's a good person, earnest in what she's doing, and is well informed. So, Omnivore's Dilemma, long-standing book by Michael Pollan, wonderful journalist. Gary I have a copy of the book here, and he makes a wonderful argument, the dilemma that we're in as omnivores. I call it a dietary dilemma. As I pointed out, Dr. Bird, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
The monarch doesn't have to have a lot of choices to make. It just eats milkweed. The koala bear just eats the eucalyptus leaves. We have so many choices. We evolved to eat many different types. As I said, the orchestration of our body, of our biology, involves a lot of instruments, and therefore meaning foods and nutrients that we need, right?
Yeah.
So we have choices to make. We have the teeth to eat vegetable plants. We have the teeth to eat meat. We have the digestive system to digest both. We can absorb both. We can assimilate the nutrients from both. And Michael Pollan in his book points out that we're in a dilemma because we don't have any rules to guide us in what to eat and what to avoid. I'll explain. You wanted to say something, Gary? I saw you.
I was just, during the break we were talking about, because people were asking what we were explaining during the break, and I was showing Dr. Bird and Dr. Garko a picture of me in high school, and if I only learned how to eat right in high school,
Back then.
what an athlete I could have been in college.
Exactly. And it's not only the diet for an athlete, but the diet for everyday people trying to get along. To say that food is your medicine is an understatement. Food is the driving force of your health destiny. And Dr. Bird, you know that too well, don't you?
Yes, you do. You have to make choices everywhere. Every time you go to the grocery store, every time you're in a restaurant, on a plane, on a ship, you need to make a choice. Make the best choice that you can make at that time, should you have the choice.
And do you have the knowledge to make it? Over thousands of years, and I'm giving attribution to Michael Pollan now. He argues that humans have created a culture of food that helps them to figure out, decide, discern what to eat and what not to eat. We learn to eat what's safe and what's not safe, what's toxic and what's poison. That's why you have taste buds. Its taste buds are not just to help you enjoy the food, but to alarm you. What does a rat do? A rat will only eat if it comes across something that it hardly knows anything about, has not experienced. It only eats a little bit because dose is important. It eats a small amount. If it doesn't get sick, then it knows to eat more of that food. Humans have taste buds to guide them in that. Well, we've sort of lost that ability because fast food, processed food, all sort of taste the same, right? So, nevertheless, we have learned also, another thing that has helped us is we learned how to cook. We fire and then cooking foods, because cooking certain foods makes certain foods that, although toxic in one state, become safe to eat once cooked. And I can give you examples of that. We have virtually in our country, U.S., no food culture to fall back on, Dr. Bird. You grew up in an Italian family.
That's right.
Your mother brought the Mediterranean paradigm into the family, a way of eating, didn't she?
Actually, it was my father.
Your dad, okay.
My mom was the European, and he did most of the cooking, Doc. But she learned. He taught her how to cook.
So that, that's part of Michael Pollan's argument. And again, we have all of the necessary biological mechanisms and equipment to eat plants and meat and anything. So what to do? And what people do is they resort to fad diets, like the snake diet that Dr. Bird introduced into the show today, about somebody eating it. And we don't use our taste buds anymore. To bitter and sweet are the two basic ways we break down food. And we evolved to favor sweet. We evolved to avoid bitter, because sometimes bitter can mean toxic. And we've learned how to figure that out. Plus, we have learned how to cook to help us in our food choices, and we became one of the most important tools for omnivores, Michael Pollan points out. It increased the number of plants and animals that we could eat once we learned how to cook. Once we made fire, then you could cook food. And humans figured this stuff out over thousands of years, and all of that's passed down through tradition. We have no natural food culture in the United States. Michael Pollan makes an incisive argument about that. We never had a national food culture in the United States. He said, I'll quote, "There's really no such thing as, quote, American food," unquote. You're saying, well, hot dogs and he says, fast food does not count. He said, I'll quote, we have few rules about what to eat, when to eat, and how to eat. My God, I swear to you, I had not read the book. How many times have I said that on the air? Since you've been on the show, Gary. Numerous times. I've been saying that all along. Hence, your relationship with food.
That's why I had the breakthrough like a month ago.
Right. He finally realized after 2 years on the show, he walked in one morning and he said, "Doc, I changed my diet. And miracles happened." I said, "Where have you been for 2 years?" I wanted to throw a book at him. Like a judge throws the book at the... No, I'm kidding.
Wonderful.
Well, it's like refined sugar. You will not believe the product's refined sugar.
You got corn in it. We're corn eaters. We're children of the corn. And it has driven us into a ditch.
And the sugars derived from the corn in most places.
Come back. We're going to talk about American Biotech Labs. That was my monologue, and we'll move on. I just wanted to implant that little seed. As I said, we are hunter-gatherers here looking for more insightful information. We'll get it from Dr. Bird. That's Talk Nutrition. Dr. Sally Bird's my guest. She's an educator for American Biotech Labs. Dr. Bird, welcome back. So the tooth gel made an appearance. The American Biotech Labs tooth gel made an appearance on PBS with Dr. Keith Muller and Dr.
Andrew Willoughby.
who's a dentist,
He's a renowned surgeon, and he practices dentistry.
surgical dentist, a surgical.
dentist. He's amazing.
Okay. So oral surgeon is what he is. And uses the silver in his practice as a surgeon to help
Yes.
patients heal better, right?
Yes.
You can also use it for good oral practice and hygiene, yes?
Yes, you can.
Every day. Every single day. You can put it in your mouth before you go to bed, after you brush your teeth and floss, rub some through your gums. Wake up in the morning, you have less film. It's a wonderful way. If you suffer from periodontal disease, I'll let you tell them.
Also, if you wear a night guard, night guards aren't clean. If you put a little bit of the gel in and then just insert it into your mouth, you are promoting healing plus keeping your teeth healthy and put into place. If you have, braces, any oral dentures, anything that's in your mouth, you can use the gel to sterilize the device. It works great, and you can swallow the residue.
And you can, I put some, I add it to my toothpaste when I brush my teeth, and brush with it as well.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good. And then now they have, and I've been using it for the tube is almost empty now. I've been using the American Biotech Labs toothpaste, the whitening.
Yes, there's a new whitener. It's just being launched. It has coral calcium and whiteners in it because so many people wanted something for their mouth that not only killed bacteria but also whitened their teeth.
I've almost gone through a full tube of it, and that's been several weeks.
Yes.
And very, very good, very effective. Flossing, brushing. I'm a big fan of a water pick. Especially, it's interesting. Try the experiment yourself. Eat a meal, brush your teeth, then use a water pick. And you're going to see that much of the debris was not removed. So, 877-897-8255, 877-897-TALK. Apparently, I've inspired a lot of comments about my point of view and Dr. And Michael Pollan's point of view that we don't have in our country, in the United States, an American food culture that's been developed over hundreds of years. We've only been around hundreds of years. In other countries such as France and throughout the Mediterranean, it's been hundreds and thousands of years, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds of years, thousands of years, where a food culture has been created with certain rules, customs, and practices. Isolating certain foods, saying, well, Philly cheesesteak is American food. Cheese Whiz is American food. That doesn't count. I'm talking about customs and practices, rules to guide you into what to eat and what not to eat. Eating a heavy dose of Cheese Whiz and chili cheesesteaks is going to get you into a lot of trouble. I'm just saying.
What about Thanksgiving, Doc?
What about
turkey.
What? Thanks, huh?
Turkey at Thanksgiving.
What about it?
Is that not American?
You're right. So, look, what Michael Pollan's talking about is a culture. A culture, whether it's a societal culture or a food culture, if you look up a definition of a culture, is made up of norms, rules, values, practices, mores, and so on, right? Not isolated elements, but that come together to create this culture, whether it's a society or a food culture. When you look at the Mediterranean way of eating, it's called a diet. Diet doesn't mean weight loss here. When you look at the Mediterranean diet, that has been created over thousands of years, constituted of an array of foods that work as a system, a total system. The French, they don't snack. They tend not to snack. They tend to eat meals together with others. They tend not to eat a lot of food at one time, small portions. They tend to eat a not a monochromatic diet, but a polychromatic diet. Lots of colors, a variety of foods. That's what I'm talking about. Picking and isolating one food doesn't constitute a culture.
But they have more portion control too than we do here.
Well, they eat less.
Yes, they do eat.
They eat what I call hospital portions, which is not necessarily a bad idea. I know when people go to a restaurant and in some of these high-end restaurants, they bring out the main entree and it's on this small plate and it looks like a portion for a child. And, some wisecracker like myself comes along and says, I'm not sick. This is a hospital portion. Can I get a bigger serving than this? We're accustomed to wanting. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Not isolated foods.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by, and that's what Michael Pollan means by a food culture. And that's all I'll say about it right now. I want to talk about American Biotech Labs. I love the company.
All right.
What did I just do during the break? What was
You took your hit of silver for the day.
I learned that from you.
Take a swig.
Does eating have an effect on healing?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Dr.
Yes, especially if you eat slowly. You take time out for eat. You're not shoveling your food in on the run, which is what we do in America.
Well, let me ask you this. Think about this during the break.
Mhm.
If you have an operation surgery, would you eat certain foods and avoid others? We'll talk about that.
Don't be stressed.
ideas about how you can use American Biotech Labs Silver Biotics products or silver products generally to help you during the summer. Explain.
Okay, first of all, say everyone's getting ready to go to the beach, soon. You may be suffering from allergies, hay fever, a lot of pollen in the air. This is the time to strengthen your immune system by having two teaspoons to at least 1 tablespoon a day. You can drink it right out of the bottle for the Silver Biotics every day so that your immune system stays strong, and it will help you get through the seasonal changes and also getting ready for the summer. And being out in the sun, you might be doing gardening, boating, fishing, more construction work. You're outside. You can add the silver gel to your hands, to your face, and your hair,
Why?
anywhere, so you don't get as burnt. And if you get burnt, you want to put this on at least every 2 hours. If you get a really bad
But
sunburn,
it's not a sunblock.
it's not a block, but it helps protect you like an invisible Band-Aid or glove against bacteria, viruses, yeast, and mold.
So why not have a product that's a sunblock with Silver Biotics in it?
They could do it.
So you have the block, and then you have the
mhm.
compounds in the silver that
Yes.
can keep the skin protected and nourished
Yes.
as well.
But it's really critical if you're outside. Say you get bit by a mosquito, or
So
it'll
silver,
help the itch.
Silver Biotics for summer.
Absolutely.
That's the theme. You had a question on the internet.
Yeah, well, we made a statement. We were talking about food and different.
No. The other question about is there certain foods for?
No, there's just certain foods for healing.
Okay, the answer is yes. There are foods to help you with digestive disorders. There are foods to help you with liver disorders. There are foods to help you with cardiovascular diseases and disorders. There are foods to help with neurological diseases and disorders,
Okay.
right? And we could go down that list. There are foods, for example, if I were a consultant, hired as a nutrition consultant for a sports team, I would be talking to them about foods for sports injuries. I would talk to them about foods to boost their energy levels. I would talk, see where I'm headed with that?
Mhm.
Because food is about chemistry, these chemical compounds that do different that have different mechanisms of action and have different kinds of effects. Do you disagree with what I said?
No, I agree with you 100%. You have to eat your medicine.
See how she does that? 877-897-8255, 877-897-TALK. Let's go to Greg in Clearwater. Gregory, welcome to the show. When's the last time somebody called you Gregory?
Not too often. My mom did it when I used to get in trouble, but that was
That's-
decades ago. So.
That's my middle name, Gregory.
Is it really?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Michael Gregory.
Hey,
Yes.
and happy belated birthday to you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I would have called in earlier, but I was kind of sleeping late because I'm retired, and sometimes I get to do that.
Well,
Right.
enjoy yourself. You had a question about, ask Dr. Bird. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Bird, I previously talked to you about nebulizing the Silver Biotic liquid, and now I'm wondering. I've been got a cold recently, and I've been using a lot of just a saline nasal spray. Could I just use the Silver Biotics as a nasal spray?
Yes, you can. And if it's easier for you, you can also use the gel at the base of your nose, too. So you could spray the silver up and then use the gel to kind of hold it together, and you'll have a longer time frame for protection.
If you look to your right, Dr. Bird,
Mm-hmm.
against the wall, grab the spray bottle. There you go. I happen to have it right
Doc
here.
has one here in the studio. So you can spray and or use the gel as a combination or by itself, whatever works best for you.
Greg,
I have not tried the gel, but from what the doctor has said and what you have related, I think I will pick up a container of that and use the nasal spray, because you can tell I'm a little bit sinusy right now when I'm talking.
I can hear you. I can hear that you're a little congested. Could you share with the audience one thing that you do every single day that you believe contributes to your health? You can just name one thing.
I take supplements.
You do.
Yep,
Is
every day.
there a particular protocol that you have with that supplement regimen?
I probably take way too many supplements, but I'm of the belief that it's better to take too many and excrete them than it is to not have enough in your system.
Mm-hmm. Do you
I
take
don't
a
think
good
I'm
multiple?
I don't think I'm detoxifying my system by doing this, but I take chromicolinate, vitamin C, B complex, potassium. I just take a lot of supplements.
Mm-hmm. They have multiple mineral supplements where you get a lot of them. You get the minerals like a multiple vitamin. Some multiple vitamins have vitamins and minerals. Some companies just make a multiple mineral supplement or a multiple vitamin, and then they have a multiple vitamin and mineral. So they break it out rather than having to take individual, although you may want freestanding magnesium or something that you're trying to treat. I was just curious, is there any particular food that you eat all the time because you think it contributes to your health?
I try to eat a lot of garlic mixed in with the different, like I'm eating organic beans, black beans. I use a lot of granulated garlic to put in there to
Okay.
boost the immune system a little bit.
Okay.
I still have a lot of bad eating habits. And
What is the worst? What do you think is the worst nutritional sin that you commit?
I eat at fast food places sometimes. I try to avoid that, but
Mm-hmm.
they advertise you so much, they bombard you with that, and it's just, I kind of grew up with that stuff, and it's really hard to kick. And
It is.
right now, I'm supposed to be getting into a nutritional diet through my doctor. They haven't really hooked me up very well, but I listen to you daily. It's probably one of the other things that helps me when I wake up early enough. I listen to your show all the time.
Well, thank you, Gregory. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, and happy birthday again.
Thanks a lot. And I sent you some photos.
Yes.
Are you able to do that, what I asked?
Yeah.
Put it on Instagram and whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I just wondered. Nice to have Dr. Bird in studio. I like when she comes in here. Good vibe. He always brings good message, good, always optimistic. She has ideas about our relationship with food. She grew up in a family where there was a food culture tradition that her father brought into the family. It was a Mediterranean food culture. It wasn't just isolated foods. So that's how she was raised. That's the same way I was raised. But my dad also had a Polish influence and got my mother to make certain Polish foods as well from that culture and that tradition. Come back, we'll talk some more. We'll have the LTN health question of the day.
Want to get
earlier. Let's see if you can get this. Chicken McNugget. A nugget. A chicken McNugget. How many ingredients will you find in a chicken McNugget? 8, 18, or 38? How many ingredients constitute a chicken McNugget? 8, 18, or 38? The right answer, you'll win a $25 supplement gift card.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-TALK.
Here's a quiz question, a different question, not for winning. Who invented the chicken nugget? Or what company? Let me do it that way. And it was in the year 1983. Anybody have a good guess? You'll be shocked.
ConAgra.
Good guess. Dr. Bird, got an idea?
I really don't know.
Tyson.
Wow.
In
Wow.
1983, Tyson invented the chicken nugget at the request of McDonald's, which was looking for a hands-free chicken product at the time.
Mm-hmm.
In 1992, chicken surpassed beef as the most popular meat in America. 6 chicken nuggets contain nearly twice as much fat as a regular hamburger. And as of 2004, in fact, that's been a while, so the number is going to be bigger. McDonald's sold 4.8 billion individual nuggets per year. So that number has got to be even greater. How many ingredients are in the chicken McNugget? 8, 18, or 38? I'm going to give you a hint. Of the number of ingredients, this will eliminate one of the choices. 13 of the ingredients are made from corn. And by the way, McNuggets also contain completely synthetic ingredients, items that come from not from corn or soy, but from petroleum refinery or chemical plants. Not the grow plants were like factories plants. These chemicals are what make the modern processed food possible, writes Michael Pollan. These foods keep the food from going bad or looking strange after months in the freezer or on the road. There are petroleum products in some of these fast foods. How many ingredients are in the McNugget? I already eliminated the one, so it's either 18 or 38. Somebody get that. So, American Biotech Labs, they're into the research, right?
Oh, heavy duty. They have 50 patents and over 400 research studies, and the research continues to grow. They're constantly working at more effective ways on how to use the silver and to get the word out to the public.
So you can drink it, you can apply it, you can insert it.
Right.
And let me see how you're good at this. Hygiene, not all oral hygiene, but genital hygiene. How does that?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of ladies are going to suffer from yeast infections, vaginal yeast infections, and inserting about a half a teaspoon of the gel vaginally will help with any of the itching, the burning. It'll sterilize the area for about 4 hours. It's wonderful. And you can put the gel in the refrigerator for an instant answer for like a mosquito bite or any type of rash.
What
anything.
does putting it in a refrigerator do?
It cools it down. So if someone had a jellyfish sting at the beach, or especially a bite of any kind of insect, you're itchy, you're hot, you're inflamed, the cool gel will just work a little bit faster. It's just another idea of how to use it.
Go to Oldsmar, Florida, where there's new ideas in Oldsmar. Carrot, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. Hi, Carrot.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. How many?
Happy birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday.
thank you.
Belated.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. How many ingredients in a McNugget? 13, or what did I say? 38.
38.
38. 13 of which are corn derived. It's unbelievable. But the average American consumes about a ton of corn a year, according to Michael Pollan. People say, well, I don't buy corn. But corn is in everything. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for calling in today, Kira.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Michael Pollan, in his book, The Omnivore's Dilemma, Dr. Bird, he and his family, one of the meals he had was an industrial, what he calls, I want to use his language, the industrial corn, right, kind of meal.
Mm-hmm.
He and his family, 4 of them, went and had a fast food meal. In that meal, he got one of his colleagues to do a carbon testing to see how much corn was in there. The soda was 100% corn.
Yeah.
The milkshake, 78% corn. Salad dressing, 65% corn. Chicken nugget, 56% corn.
Mm-hmm.
The cheeseburgers that they ate, 52% corn. The French fries, 23% corn. That's how you get to a ton.
That's right. It's sad. Very sad. The fattening of America, what it is.
Food and disease. Just saying.
Mhm.
Thank you for coming by today.
It was my pleasure. It was great.
It's always good to have you around. We love it when you come in and you share everything, your experiences. You make it real. American Biotech Labs. If you're looking for a silver product, look no further.
And don't travel anywhere without it.
Don't leave home without it.
Don't leave
Oh, that's a
home
wrong
without it.
commercial. I'm
Well.
sorry. Silver gel.
Your charge card and your silver. okay?
Exactly.
They go hand in hand.
They do. The silver gel, you have it, the topical, you have the tooth gel inside the mouth, you have the spray, you can drink, you have it liquid,
And the lozenges.
and I always have 2 or 3 in my pocket. Your health is your wealth, and your health is the wealth of those that care about and love you. Corn away.
Everyone's raving about the newest botanical superstar hitting the store shelves nationwide.